I'm taking a trip around the world to find Australia's favourite egg dish. Today I'm headed to the UK for a classic Welsh dish, Anglesey Eggs. Anglesey Eggs is a dish you can serve on its own, you can serve it as an accompaniment with other things, and it's pretty simple. It's leftover mashed potatoes with a bit of leek through it, or leftover cold cannon if you have it, boiled eggs and cheese sauce. I've already made the mash, just a few potatoes, boiled and then mashed with butter and milk. The leeks are really, really simple. They just go into a small pot. And because the dish is quite rich with the butter that's in the mash and then the eggs and of course the cheese sauce on top, I actually don't want to cook the leeks in butter. You could saute them in butter if you wanted a more rich Anglesey eggs, but just a touch of water is fine. I'll boil those on the stove for about 10 minutes until the leeks are really tender. Mix it through the mash. But what I really want to talk to you about is boiling eggs, because boiling eggs is something that people get wrong quite a lot, I think, and it shouldn't be as difficult as people seem to think it is. Boiling eggs is very simple, but you need to know a few things. If you're going to peel these eggs, and you want to peel your eggs, you want to make sure the shell comes away cleanly. The best way to do that is with one of these or something similar. This is an egg pricker. All it is a little pin that makes a hole in the base of your egg. I think this is the easiest thing and one of the most effective things for boiling an egg. You just push your egg down on the pricker and you've got a little hole in the base. If you don't have one of these, and probably you don't, a very small sharp knife or even a little screwdriver, one that you would have for tightening the screws on a pair of glasses or something. Just drill a little hole in the base of your egg, and then when you boil it, the shell will come off really cleanly. The cheese sauce is really simple. Butter, flour, and milk. You don't need to add hot milk into a cheese sauce. You can use cold milk perfectly fine. And of course, we finish that with some grated cheese. So let's get most of this over to the stove. Okay. First thing I want to do is get my leeks on. You're probably also wondering about this hole in the base of the egg. Now, this is a really easy way to kind of foolproof your boiled eggs. What the hole does is a couple of things. Firstly, there's an air pocket inside the egg. And quite often when you see the shell of the egg crack when it goes into hot water, it's because that air pocket is expanding. The hole allows the air to escape, so you won't get any cracked eggs. Secondly, when you're peeling a boiled egg, you want the shell to come away cleanly. The hole helps with that too, because when you take the eggs out of the hot water and put them into cold water, that kind of shocks the egg and cools it down, and it will suck water in to the egg between the membrane of the egg and the shell will come away cleanly. So let's throw the eggs into the water. Just give the eggs a little stir to make sure the water temperature is distributed evenly. When you're boiling an egg, you want consistency. The water is going to be a consistent temperature, just below 100 degrees. The egg, whether it's at room temperature or the fridge, I don't really mind, but work out what works for you. And then the only thing you've got to worry about is the time. So for me, 6.5, 7 minutes will give you a nice soft boiled egg. I want these to be hard boiled, so I'm going to go for about 9.5, 10 minutes. The leeks are done, so I'll take those off. My eggs too. Straight out of the pot and in to some ice cold water. While the eggs are cooling, I'll make my cheese sauce. I want to start off with a roux, a mixture of flour and butter that will thicken the sauce. In goes the butter and the flour too. Mix together the butter and flour and just cook out that flour taste. A couple of minutes is fine, but you don't want too much colour in this roux. This is what we'd call a blonde roux. If you want to flavour your milk, you can. I see some recipes infuse the milk with onion or bay leaf or such, but you can just use cold milk and you'll make a great cheese sauce regardless. A little at a time and mix that in. Keep stirring this constantly, otherwise you'll get lumps. A little more. That looks pretty good. Now all we need to do is put in the cheese. Just stir that through until all the cheese is melted. Now it's time to put together the Anglesey eggs. Okay, eggs cooked, cheese sauce done, leeks softened. Just want to mix these into my mash. Give it a little season with salt too. Now for my eggs. I like to tap it where I've formed the hole. And for a hard-boiled egg, it doesn't matter too much. Break up the shell and hopefully, because we've pricked a hole in it, should peel relatively easily. When I'm peeling eggs, I always give them a last dip into the cooling water because it releases the surface tension, just like taking off a jacket. Perfect hard-boiled egg. Okay, I'll put my eggs to one side, clean this all down, and I can start building my Anglesey eggs. My mash into the base of an oven-proof dish. My boiled eggs can go in the top. It's a pretty perfect hard-boiled egg, I'd say. What you're looking for with a hard-boiled egg is you don't want it to be too chalky all the way through. You know, that lovely bright golden colour that's not gelatinous, but just set in the middle and no grey ring around the outside. You can tell your boiled egg's a little bit overcooked. Okay, so I just drop these into the mash. And last thing to go on is our cheese sauce. And this goes under the grill for a few minutes to brown the top. Browned and bubbling Anglesey eggs. I just finished that with a grinder pepper and a few spring onions, just for a bit of colour. A Welsh favourite, Anglesey eggs, but will it be Australia's favourite? Don't forget to vote for your favourite egg dish.